Some people love their cats or dogs more than they love their real children. That is 100% fact.
You're listening to Workplace Inappropriate, where HR professionals and their guests discuss real workplace scenarios to answer the question, what is workplace inappropriate? Co-host and HR professionals Kearin Lowry, Kate Owen, and Zoe Grahl of WorkforcePositive.com won't bore you with employment law or get righteous about workplace conduct. Instead, they're going to answer real questions, like should I dance on the table at the Christmas party? Or can I tell someone their clothes are workplace inappropriate? Kearin, Kate, Zoe, and their guests are lifting the lid on some HR juice and losing the HR fun police tag. With their A-plus HR advice, you can have fun and still keep your job. Now, here are your hosts, Kearin, Kate, and Zoe.
Welcome to the next instalment of Workplace Inappropriate. My name is Average Joe, and today we're joined by Kearin and Kate. And today our topic is going to be pets or children in the workplace. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? And should it happen? Before we go, let's hear from our sponsors.
Welcome to the Workplace Inappropriate podcast, brought to you by Workforce Positive. My name's Kearin Lowry and I'm the Director of Workforce Positive, and we'll take a couple of moments just to tell you a little bit about us. We're a HR consulting firm. We're based in Queensland in Australia, and our passion is to fortify our client businesses against risk, to formulate their success pathway towards their future realised. And as a business owner, I know that your future realised is the zenith of all your plans and goals, all the hopes and dreams that you had when you started your business. So how do we do that? Well, we do all the usual things that you'd expect. Employment contracts, we do recruitment, we do success profiling, we do individual performance, learning and development plans, and we run workshops and team building. But what we're really passionate about is bullying and harassment prevention. The Workplace Inappropriate podcast is part of that purpose that we feel strongly about. Creating workplaces where people feel safe to be themselves, they feel heard, and they know they can come to work and enjoy friendships and engagement with customers and their job, and they don't have to worry about being harassed or bullied or sexually assaulted. That's our ideal workplace and an ideal outcome from our prevention programs. So in our episodes, we're going to discuss everyday things that happen in workplaces all the time. And sometimes they mean nothing. And sometimes they can lead to a very bad outcome for the employees and for the business. So today, we're going to talk about something that's pertinent and interesting, hopefully, and give you some tips about how you can show up and do your best at work and be workplace appropriate. If you have any ideas for our podcast, we'd love to hear them. We'd love to hear topics and questions. Q&A is always open every month for you to submit your questions. And if you're interested as a business owner in learning more about how you can create better workplace interactions and prevent bullying and harassment, then please engage with us. Give us a call on 0746 02 9990 or contact us through the website workforcepositive.com to talk to us about our prevention programs. We have an efficient, effective, cost-effective program that you can access on a monthly or annual basis. It's my pleasure to bring you this podcast and I hope you enjoy it. Let's take a moment to introduce the people that make this podcast possible. We have Kate. Kate is our HR program coordinator and my executive assistant at Workforce Positive. She's a current HR student at university studying business management, majoring in HR and maybe accounting, but she hasn't decided yet. Kate's passionate about equity. She loves to do the right thing and she has an incredible work ethic. As a person, she's just a pleasure to have around and so funny. But do watch out for her hockey stick. We have Zoe. Zoe is also a student at the Australian National University studying psychology and international business. She's in her second year and about to jet set off to the UK for a vacation internship or exchange program. I think that's what it's called, an exchange program. Zoe has an incredible interest in communication, psychology, diversity, and she brings all of her own work experiences and experiences at university to the table. She loves to know why things happen, why people communicate, and how they can go astray sometimes. We also have our regular Joe off the street. Now, regular Joe, he represents just that, regular Joe. He's all about not being politically correct, not being censored, saying what you think, and letting everyone just be themselves. So thank you to Kate, Zoe, and Joe off the street for bringing your talents to the show.
Welcome back. Thank you very much for our sponsors. Workforce positive.
Justin's just losing it behind the camera.
How's sound, guys?
This is my first time hosting, as you can probably tell, and I got the great topic of pets/kids in the workforce. Not in the workforce, but in the workplace, because they shouldn't be working, they should be at school. What are your thoughts, Kearin? Should kids or pets be allowed in the workplace?
I think the first rule of children and pets in the workplace is are they toilet trained?
Are they toilet trained?
They're toilet trained?
Both kids and pets.
Let's stick with pets first, and we can, because you might have a different view on pets and kids.
Oh, look,
I think it's pretty similar.
my views are pretty well the same.
So if they're toilet trained, they're allowed.
Well, no, that's just the first criteria.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many criteria do we have? Because dogs and kids, kids can sometimes talk, pets can't.
I think it's a overall capacity question too. Mm-hmm. So, like, how many dogs or kids, as an example, would be reasonable for the workplace space that you have?
So if it's school holidays and every worker is like, okay, I'm bringing my kids in, you've got a whole ass vacation care going on at your workplace.
So is it more around the impact that they have to the working, or the size of the workspace, or that they go in the corner rather than they go in the bathroom? Like, what is the criteria we're looking at?
Well, I think my experience is a little bit different. So as an employee of anywhere that I've worked, it's never been an option to have a pet in the workplace or to bring children to work for anything more than, like, literally, I'm actually not here today. Like, let's say I'm unwell or my kid's unwell. And so I've got to pop into work to enable me to do more work outside of work. That would be a reason to have my children with me, but never as an alternative to care. And as a business owner, my children just go with me wherever I go. So there have been times where I've taken my kids to clients and set them up in a boardroom with an iPad and, bless my children.
Ooh.
I have written them the riot act, and it's a long-term client and they know me and they need me there on that particular day. And so my children, because they are the age that they are, they can handle,
That's another thing, age. If you've got a 2-year-old running amok in a workplace, like, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm understanding, though, there, Kearin, is if you run a business, do whatever the hell you like. Bring your kids, bring your pets, grandma, anyone's welcome. But if you're an employee, no, you're out of luck.
Well, I don't know about that. Like, I think my team, I would be open to it. Like, Kate, you've got a recent example too.
Yeah, I've got my nieces. I had to help my brother in a pickle, so I had shoved them in solitary confinement, which is what we call our second room. They sat there for 2 hours and then they went home.
So did you find, though, that having the kids at work made you more or less productive?
The same. But that's because of the age of them. Like, they're all above 8 years old. They can all kind of look after themselves. They need to go to the toilet. They just go to the toilet themselves. They don't have to bother you to do anything. Whereas I feel like if you had a kid under 5 years old, it's going to be a handful because they need full-time supervision. I also think we're kind of looking at in just one kind of environment too. Like, we're looking at it as an office environment. You can't bring a kid. I mean, I'm the daughter of a mechanic and I always used to go to the mechanic shop. But I think different work environments, if you're on a mine site, you can't bring your kids to a mine site.
No.
You can't, there's certain workplaces that you can't bring your kids to. If you do, like, different site work, if you're a tradie and you have to go to different houses, sites, you're not going to bring your kids or your pets.
Oh, my mate has.
Yeah?
Yeah, so I've got a couple of mates that are builders, and so some of them, there's a couple of them actually that bring their dog to work, but the dog's very well trained.
Yes.
Like, so the dog just kind of sits there, it doesn't run off, it doesn't bark, it just kind of literally follows the chipping
Like
around.
their little shadow.
Yeah. Or sits in the corner and just has a great time and just gets, thrown scraps and whatnot. Or I've got another mate who does bring his kids to work sites. Obviously, you've got to have the kid, I know this might sound bad, well trained, well behaved, whatever the word, so that they're not picking up nail guns and running, chasing each other with axes and stuff. But yeah, I think if the child is able to look after themselves and doesn't cause an impact to the actual work, though my mate will back me up and say when his kids come to work, he gets literally nothing done because while he might be doing something, it's never 100% there because he's always watching and paying attention. Personally, I'm not a fan of having kids or pets in the workplace. I think work's for work and that's pretty much it.
I think in this day and age, and particularly coming in with the economy that we're kind of coming into, it's actually really hard for people to afford daycare, and particularly in those holiday periods where kids, 2 weeks, they have to be at home. And if they've got that age between kind of like 5 and 11 is really hard because they're not really old enough yet to live at home, that's right.
Apparently you need to be 12.
Well, that's the age, yeah.
That's the age. No, but you know what I mean? So, and daycare has become so expensive. And also kids just don't like it either, and I was talking like Megan, who's also part of our crew, she says that she doesn't really like putting her kids in vacation care because of the sickness as well. All the sickness. She says they're always sick, and then when they go back to school, they're sick from vacation care. So I think it's become a lot more normalised to have your kids at work with you. And a lot of employers are being a little bit more lenient with it.
But at the same token, it's not to be taken advantage of.
That's right.
And
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So inappropriate, appropriate. So if the kid's under 5, probably not appropriate to be bringing at work. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I think that the challenge with all of this is it's situational.
A case-by-case basis.
Case-by-case basis. But just to move the conversation into a slightly different space, I think that workplace participation for women particularly, we know that workplace participation is lower for women, so they leave the workforce, and part of the reason is the difficulty in having, a whole life. And when I say whole life, like to work, to have children, to maintain a household, to maintain a relationship, all of those things that we'd like to do in sort of, our 30s, 40s, 50s, it can become very challenging. And sometimes work is seen as like it's easier just to let it go than trying to juggle it. Because it's when you go into the work setting, there's way more expectations on you. You have to sort of conform with policies and expectations around productivity and how you show up and how long you're there. So sometimes just putting your hands up and go, you know what, I'm going to park work for a while, hopefully come back to it later or come back to some other income earning activity when when my children are older or out of school, that sort of thing. That's a really normal set of conversations and thoughts to have because sometimes it can be quite hard to maintain employment.
That's not always optional for everyone though.
That's right.
That's not an option. And honestly,
I agree with
in
that.
this day and age, it's pretty well not an option for really anyone. Even in not just single parents, even in joint income households, that joint income, that needs to be joint income because it's, cost of living is just so extraordinary at the moment that the employment is very, very vital. And, like I said earlier, daycare and looking after your children, having babysitters, nannies is pretty expensive. So people are having to make accommodations and doing things a little bit differently than how they would usually do. I reckon 20, 30 years ago, correct me if I'm wrong, kids wouldn't have never been in the workplace.
Well, they wouldn't have had to have been a consideration because probably, if you look statistically, their mum would have been at home.
Yeah,
or a parent would have been at home.
Yeah, whereas now it's different,
So I guess the message then is, for employers particularly, is we want the benefit of participation. So, recruitment at the moment is really difficult. Our talent pools are quite small, but there are qualified people who are choosing not to work because work is not a place where they feel accommodated. So if we want to improve participation, things like being able to work from home during school holidays or having children in the workplace for a percentage of school holidays, just to help people create more balance could make a big difference for them.
Yeah, that's right. But then that working from home, we're talking about kids who are in school.
Yes.
What's your standpoint on kids who are under 5 years old?
I think it's really difficult.
Very difficult.
To be productive. I think another adult would have to be at home in some capacity.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because you can't work from home and be looking after an under 5-year-old.
No.
It's just, they need pretty well a lot of attention. Otherwise, they're going to jump off a chair and break their collarbone.
Yeah.
But they'll only jump off the chair once.
Yeah, well.
So on that
Very.
Yeah. So on that though, so I know you've taken a sidestep to I'm not quite sure where, women participation in the workforce.
Well, just statistically, we want more people to come to work and work.
Yes.
So we have people in our population who are not working by choice. So we want them to work. And so...
You've heard it here. Work.
So is
We
that
want to improve participation.
Yeah. I mean, also, like a lot of employers are accommodating enough. And like you said, you don't want people taking advantage of that. So like what would be an option, you know, to move forward in that? Would be obviously policy writing, having a procedure around it. You know, there's not many procedures and policies written in workplaces for kids or pets in the workplace. So we've talked about kids. Let's go on about pets now. So I think it's vastly different, isn't it? Because a dog can be left at home by itself.
Well, it can, but then it can also eat everything at home.
That's
if it is
right.
left
Well,
by itself.
can we just show?
Yeah. On that. So, yeah, but if for example, you bring, well, while you're finding that stuff, if you bring a cat and a dog and they don't get on, whose pet stays?
Well, obviously the dog stays.
But as my pet, my pet's more important than your pet.
Yeah, it could cause some workplace drama.
Friction. Your dog started humping my dog. What's going on?
Well, I want a share of the puppies because my dog's beautiful.
But it's my dog that's given the puppy.
Do we just show everybody the Kearin's office dog that
Oh, Banoffee.
I don't know if we can see
Don't
that.
know if we can see that. Anyway, this is a very important topic because Kearin has just recently got herself a lovely dog.
But seems to chew everything at home.
Yeah, I think
Little
he
bit.
gets a bit sad and lonely
Yeah.
and then naughty.
But then comes to work.
And he's not toilet trained.
So listen, everybody, everything that we've just said does not apply. Once again, if you're an owner of a business, you can do whatever the hell you like. Bring your dog to work, have it pee in the corner, and make your employee clean it up. That's perfectly okay.
And I think I actually feel quite bad about that because, look, I didn't really plan to get a dog. So being a noob to dog ownership, I thought, like my memory of our dogs at home, they just stayed at home. I didn't ever think that
And
I
he'd be
would,
trained to stay at home though.
yeah, that I would be like struggling to work out what to do with my dog because my dog gets upset and sad and
Get another dog.
So if on a side note, if you do know how to train a dog so they can stay at home without getting anxious, give us a call. Let us know.
please. He's a border collie, yeah. He's very active and clever.
Okay, I'm going to go segue here. What about a goldfish on your desk?
That's perfectly okay.
I'm pro goldfish. If it's
Pro
got
goldfish.
enough air.
But see, they're like tanks and like the, you know, filtration system, they can be quite noisy.
Oh, no, I'm thinking like a pretty aesthetically nice one. I'm not thinking about a noisy tank.
Well, fish need filtration.
Well, then
Fish are friends, not food.
I'm against.
Yes, Bruce. No, I'm pro fish. They don't go anywhere in the corner. They don't make any mess. They're easy to look after. I love fish. I do have fish at home. I used to have big tanks. I'm pro fish.
Pro fish. Well,
And they're very calming. They don't come up and like try and hump your leg or slobber on the floor. Yeah.
or chew your shoes.
Or chew your shoes.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
But the dog cat thing, I don't know. I don't think cats.
I'm going to level with you. Some people love their cats or dogs more than they love their real children. That is 100% fact.
What if we look at it?
Ooh. If you love your pet more than your own, like, actual human children,
Give us a like, because 100% there's going to be a lot of people out there.
please tell us about that.
Yeah.
But, so you say you're a business owner, you'd bring your dog in. Would you ever let your employees bring their dog in?
Yeah.
Look, I have thought about this. Like, imagine if you got a dog and you just start bringing it in because it's sad. I'd be like, can we talk about this?
That's right.
See, once again, employers just doing whatever they like. Average Joe's like, if it's good for one, it's got to be good for the other.
Yeah, I totally hear that. But I have started getting him into daycare.
Yeah, so now instead of him coming to work, you what? Pay for him to go somewhere else.
Yes, I do.
And so he can go in the corner over there as long as he's not at work.
So he can run around with other doggies and
But I also
not be
think
anxious.
there are benefits to having a pet in the workplace because there have been proven studies about anxiety.
Yep.
They're emotional support animals.
yeah.
So I feel like if you as an employer want to accommodate your employees by having an office dog or a workplace pet, make sure they're toilet trained.
Yeah.
Make sure they're trained animal, maybe they're a fish
Or dog, or person. Make sure they're trained.
person. Make sure you don't employ someone who's not toilet trained.
Yes. I'm pretty sure my sister, she has cats. She lives over in the UK.
Yep.
And they were able to bring their pets to work, and they had a little beagle that sat there and a little cat that sat on the desk.
Yes.
No problems. They're trained animals. They don't, but I can just see your dog with a cat just chasing it round and round and round.
That happens at home.
Yeah.
I think it's like a couple of things. Obviously, the temperament of the animal. Like, I would be terrified to have a cat in the office because cats are scary. They are. I've had a cat leap across a couch at me before.
Because it was being chased by your dog.
No, this was years ago. This was not my cat.
Different cat.
A different cat.
So I think it has to have a temperament to be around other people. You have to be able to not be barked at and bitten and all that sort of jazz with a dog.
Yeah.
So, and then maybe you'd have to have some sort of roster. If there are a few pets like associated with the people in your business, you can't all have your dog at work every day.
I'm seeing a lot of
I feel
compromising scenarios, lots of areas where people can get annoyed. Your dog came to work when
What if
my dog was
someone's
supposed to come.
allergic to dogs?
Yeah, or cats. Or what happens if
cats.
your dog bites my cat? Who's paying the vet bill?
I
You
feel
as the
like-
employer? Because see, can of worms, people. Average Joe saying blanket no. Make it easy, blanket no, unless you want a goldfish or a little fighting fish, Siamese fighting fish. Great options. Or a plant. Get a plant.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can have plant desperate.
Or a rock.
Yes. Or you can get a thank you rock and then you can just throw it at people when they annoy you.
A pet rock that gets thrown at people.
Well,
I don't know about this.
can I take my rock for a walk? It's my pet rock.
All right, so what's the moral of the
You've got
story?
to put the little
Moral of the
googly
story.
eyes on it.
Back to the important things. Moral of the story is, I think it's a case-by-case basis. Your employer can do whatever they want by the sounds of it, but I think it's
I'm
going to
not
cause
advocating for doing whatever you want.
I think it's going to cause a bit of friction because it's really difficult because as we just went through, there's so many different types of dogs, so many different types of pets that you can bring to the workplace. How do
So
they
many
interact?
different types of kids.
And kids. Yeah. So to make sure that it all works harmoniously, it's probably easier just to say no. Because then that's my take. You guys probably have a different take.
I think workplace consultation. Maybe have a policy that suits the people.
Policy.
It's going to make a lot of more work for you guys. Average Joe's here saying it's going to make more work for these people. I would just say no.
I think
We're happy with work. We like work.
if you're an employer and you think this is a good idea, I think just talk about it with your employees. Because some of the employees might be like, I'm not bringing my dog to work. Just have a collaborative chat. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I think the children thing is definitely more suited because that happens a lot more commonly in workplaces. And I think procedures and policies that accommodate and that way everyone has the same policy to follow is definitely should be looked at.
Correct me if I'm wrong. If it's not the same for everybody, it makes it then difficult.
From an equity standpoint.
Yeah. So you could. I'm just being devil's advocate here. I bring my kid in. He's 6. He's no worries. You bring your kid in. He's 11 and he's drawn on the walls.
Yeah.
Like
It is a tough thing because disruption in the workplace obviously affects everyone who's trying to get work done.
Yeah.
So I guess if you're going to go down that path, you have to think about what you can accommodate, what space you've got. Because asking a child to sit in the corner and not make noise, that's probably not realistic.
yeah, workplace isn't an ideal place for most kids.
Yeah. So like I've worked in workplaces where there was a whole entire ground floor that was dedicated to like social stuff. It was a massive lunchroom and it also had a pool table and some couches and a telly. And so there were times when there were children down there. Now, granted, they weren't employees' children, they were directors of the business kids. But
Doing whatever they like.
But if it was a workplace that I was managing, I would say, look, well, let's talk about who actually needs that support because it won't be 100% of the workforce. What do you ideally require? And it's a little bit like negotiating work hours and rosters. So like if you could bring children into the workplace 2 days a week for a period and work from home on a third day, and then you actually had only 2 days that you had to consider outside care, would that be enough to, ease the cost of it, but also alleviate the concerns you have around, children being, potentially bored or unhappy after school care or being exposed to potential illness? It's just about finding some balance. It's not necessarily about the employer going, I'm going to solve 100% of your problem. It's just about being part of the solution.
Compromising.
I did hear there was a business owner who did 4 days. Like they did 7 to 5, so they did 10 hours over 4 days.
Yep.
So everybody got
hours.
Yeah, so everyone got a Friday off.
Yep.
That might,
That might be an option for a period.
Yeah.
Maybe not permanently. It depends again on the business and the roles and how their customers interact with them.
Yeah.
Because, having no one
a
available
Friday.
on a Friday might be great for some percentage of the workplace, but customers might feel a bit underserviced.
I think it's a case, like you said, it's a case by case.
So, to conclude, case by case basis, employers can do anything they want, is that what I'm hearing? And pets and children, long as they're not disrupting into the workforce, probably okay. But, yeah.
With good structure around it and thoughtful structure.
Discussion and, yeah.
And if you have any issues, please reach out, see your HR manager, because I'm sure they're going to have a field day with this. But time's running out. Thank you very much. And
Contact us for a policy.
Yeah, we'll write you a policy.
For sure.
yes. So thank you for Kearin. Thank you for Kate. And once again, Average Joe out. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us and listening to the Workplace Inappropriate podcast. As a business owner, I'm very grateful for the other businesses that we work with to make this possible. Our suppliers do an impeccable job and we're so grateful for Premier Sound and Lighting. Justin Myers, thank you for making us sound so good. Dave, in Ireland, we had to go all the way to Ireland to find the best production guy there is, but you make us look good and you keep it classy with your editorial. Thank you very much. To Anthony, our voiceover guy, you're the best voiceover guy there is. Thank you. Jess Ritchie from Transformational Brand Lab, thank you for our branding and imagery. It's just beautiful. Thank you for listening and we'll see you next month.
Thanks for listening to Workplace Inappropriate from workplacepositive.com. Workforce Positive offers a fresh approach to bullying and harassment prevention training. Our training goes beyond the legislative definitions. We apply learning to real examples so that your team are equipped to make the best possible decisions on their conduct. With the Workplace Inappropriate Training Program, employers have access to monthly live training to induct new team members every 30 days, ensuring that you're always current with your legal obligations to actively prevent bullying and harassment at work. We have your policy, process, conduct charter, and training covered, all in one place. Contact workforcepositive.com at www.workforcepositive.com to learn more.